Good morning, Wildings. It's time for another intuitive tarot card reading. Today we're going to ask Spirit for channeled messages regarding what your guides want you to know when receiving general readings. So that can be any advice that your guides have for you based on the readings that you're seeing, what they want you to do with it, what they want you to absorb, what they want you to take away and practice or change or elevate or whatever it is. We're going to get a little bit of clarity on how your guides want you to receive readings just generally, but also in terms of your spiritual development. Like, what is the purpose for what? So if that sounds like something you really want to know today, stick around for the video. Good morning, Wildings. Welcome to your reading for what your spirit guides want you to know when it comes to receiving general readings. So this is going to be advice for you based on what your spirit guides really want you to take away from general readings that you're receiving, or anything that your spirit guides want you to process, and how to process that to get to the outcome that they're intending for you or that you're intending for yourself. As always, I've left a brief description of each reading in the very, very bottom of the description box below. If for whatever reason you're practicing some sort of self-care where you're avoiding triggers or only opening yourself up to certain readings or certain topics, that's always there for you as an option. But for everyone else, I'd strongly encourage you to select a pile, either 1, 2, or 3, using your intuition to get channeled messages regarding what advice your spirit guides have for you right now. And wherever your intuition is sending you, I'll see you there in a moment. Hey there, pile 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose this beautiful green crystal, I'm looking at the blue of the cards, then this reading is probably for you. However, it is a general reading, so as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and meditate on the rest. This is a general reading, so there will be messages here for specific people, and there will be some cards that'll have a better interpretation for your situation. So always coming back to your own intuition and discernment, but let's get some general themes of what your spirit guides want you to know using this astrology deck. We have general themes about what pile 1's spirit guides want them to know when receiving general readings. We get general themes of what pile 1's spirit guides want them to know when receiving general readings, please. We get general themes about, thank you. Okay, I have a feeling I already know what your spirit guides are going to advise you, but we'll unpack it. So the first card we have is the Pluto placement. It's quite a spiritual placement. It also has to do with like secrets and hidden realities and hidden depths. And it's very transformative. It corresponds with the 8th house of transformation, sex, death, metaphysics, kind of like all that really woo-woo stuff. It also corresponds with Scorpio energy. Then we also have the 6th house of routine, which is ruled by Virgo, and the more analytical side of Mercury. We have the 10th house, which is ruled by Capricorn, and our Saturn placement. Both of these are earth signs, but the 10th house Capricorn is cardinal, and then the 6th house is fixed. So the 6th house has to do with like our health, our routines, our work, kind of like who we are kind of more in the day-to-day. And then the 10th house is kind of like how we show up in the world in a broader sense. It can have a lot to do with our career and like following our purpose and path in life. But let's get more specific using a traditional tarot, shall we? Spirit, could we please have channeled messages for pile 1 in regards to any more messages for pile 1 in regards to receiving readings? Could you clarify this King of Wands and Fool energy, please? And could we please clarify the Four of Pentacles? And can we please also clarify the Five of Swords and Star card, please? Okay. Pile 1, when it comes to receiving general readings, your spirit guides really want to help you right now in terms of filling in some of the blanks for you when it comes to how to flow through the full process of manifestation. It seems like there's potentially a few places where you're getting a little bit stuck when it comes to the manifestation cycle that they want to illuminate to you and bring clarity on, so that essentially you can be a better manifester, and so that the things that you're maybe seeing in readings or visualizing in meditation can actually come into fruition for you, because potentially right now it's not actually clear to you where you're like falling off track a little bit. So this reading should clarify for you how to get back on track when it comes to manifesting what it is you desire. I can see that like Spirit really wants you to go through the full cycle when it comes to manifestation, but it seems like you're a little bit out of balance when it comes to that manifestation. I can see that like you initially envision really beautiful things for you, and maybe that's calling them into your feed in terms of like maybe tarot readings or just like any sort of confirmation like that you're seeing in the world around you. You're kind of like drawing those in, but then the process gets a little bit stuck from there. The Wheel of Fortune is kind of like right in the middle and mess of things generally. So it seems like that's where you're getting maybe a little bit stuck. Like you can kind of start it, but it seems like you're not really sure how to finish it, so to speak. It seems like the things that your spirit guides want you to know that you're doing well is finding things that excite and inspire you, and really getting into the feeling of that excitement and inspiration, and kind of like the beauty of like envisioning and like feeling into what it would feel like if you had the thing that you were trying to manifest, whatever it is. It seems like you're very like inspired and passionate about what it is you want to manifest, but kind of like where you're getting a little bit stuck is Eight of Swords energy is a like very mental energy. So we've got 8, 9, and 7. So this is kind of like towards the end of all of their suits. It seems like when you're envisioning things, sometimes thoughts will come up that maybe will derail you off the path a little bit, and maybe some stories that you're entertaining, and maybe a little bit too much focusing on the absence of something rather than like really sitting in this fullness of inspiration and feeling. So you seem to be getting derailed there a little bit. You also seem to be getting derailed when it comes to persisting with keeping that spark of inspiration alive that kind of keeps you going, keeps you motivated the whole way through the process. And then Seven of Pentacles energy is about essentially like victory in terms of manifesting it into the physical. I think you're potentially a little bit too focused on what's happening externally to you. There seems to be some sort of like, once you get into the emotion and inspiration initially, like you seem to be looking for it externally very quickly rather than focusing on the internal process, and like looking in the physical for evidence of how it's already here, maybe just in like a baby form, if that makes sense. And so it's kind of it's this sort of stuff that's essentially kind of creating a lot of the conflict for you in terms of whatever it is that you're manifesting, whatever it is that you're seeing, and getting confirmation on. Like you're getting a little bit lost because of these things here. And like maybe losing hope in the process, like when you're right in the middle of it, rather than kind of like seeing the whole process all the way through. And so what your spirit guides are really asking you to work on is like kind of like taking it way slower, taking it like just slowing down all of your expectations, relaxing a lot more, relaxing into the flow and into the process, and like concentrating on how you're bringing the process into the everyday, into the physical, and into your like daily practices, from a place of like not grasping and not forcing. So the Seven of Wands can be like in its kind of like negative polarity, like maybe being a little bit defensive. So Spirit's really asking you to kind of like drop your walls when it comes to your manifestations, and whatever it is that's being confirmed for you in spiritual messages, but then getting a little bit stuck in terms of coming through in the physical. Yeah, so really like letting things go, letting your walls down, and letting things take a bit more time, especially initially. Like things will speed up as you get better at this whole process, but it seems like you're kind of like getting halfway through the process and then expecting a lot, rather than going all the way through the cycle, all the way through the process, to like get where you want to go. Yeah, you're definitely getting a little bit lost in the middle, it seems. But we'll see if your guides have any practical advice in terms of helping you not get so stuck in the middle. And this is potentially why some things are maybe taking a little bit longer, because you kind of get stuck in the middle and then start all over again. It seems like it's kind of the tail end finishing of what it is you desire that's like a little bit challenging for you. Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing is the temptation card. So are you in denial about an unhealthy habit, perhaps one that makes you feel guilty? The fairy says you have the power to overcome temptation, whatever it's, guys. So habits are very much to do with the 6th house of routine. So if I were you, I would definitely look at your daily habits. And part of the process of all this is like looking at each of your habits in a day, and figuring out how to transform the habit you already have into something more aligned with what it is you're manifesting or calling in or claiming or whatever it is. And it doesn't even need to be a huge improvement. Just like go for what's the next step. Like if you like want to be meditating, like you don't have to meditate for half an hour a day. Like start with 5 minutes, or start with 3 minutes. Just start with something that's achievable, and just build it up from there. So transform some unhealthy habits for sure, is what Spirit's asking you to do, because that will help you get through this process a little bit easier. If a lot of your daily habits are like upgraded, it'll be easier for you to like flow through the whole cycle. And then we also have life energy. That big fairy of sunshine brings you lots of life-giving energy. She reminds you to shine your light and reveal anything in the shadows that needs to be healed. So I'd say definitely this like kind of like feeling a little bit defensive, and not going slow enough and allowing the whole process to play out, is probably something that you need to give some healing energy to. And just like really prioritize rest and letting your walls down, and like letting go a lot. So however, like whatever your intuition says in terms of like how to invite more of that slowness and like surrender into your life, this card is definitely encouraging you to really embrace that. Do we have any other advice for pile 1 when it comes to moving through this whole process of manifestation? So it seems like, I would say the general, so this is definitely this patience energy, just like let go, slow down. I would say like the general theme of this is it seems like Spirit's like definitely trying to keep you ignited and excited about the things that you're manifesting and the confirmations that you're seeing in general readings, and like just generally the things that you're seeing. But yeah, this reading is definitely about like you seeing that and like using those confirmations for this 9 of Wands, like keeping the inspiration going throughout the whole cycle and being able to pick it back up. That's what readings are there for you. But yeah, that's kind of like step 1 in terms of like keeping your manifestation on track. And that's why Spirit's showing you these things. Like you're seeing the general readings about like love or abundance or your career or whatever it is that you're seeing, to like keep you motivated, and moving towards what you desire. And that's all they're really there for you for. Like they're not really intending to be much else other than the igniter, but Spirit's definitely asking you to focus on all the background things that can move you towards it a lot better. I can see that maybe you've gotten a little bit frustrated because you keep seeing the same kind of confirmations and readings, but things don't seem to be happening in the physical, and that's kind of like derailing you a little bit as well. Spirit wants to keep showing you these things to keep igniting that inspiration, but it doesn't want to show you things that are going to derail you. So I think Spirit sending you here is definitely hoping to be able to keep showing you the readings that they're showing you to ignite and inspire you, but really reminding you that the rest is really up to you in terms of like integrating it into your daily routine, and keeping in the feeling of things and not getting too like hungry and desperate for it just because they keep showing it to you. It is supposed to be like a way for you to get excited about creating this future that they're showing you, but the kind of like growing into it, that's like essentially on you, because it's the growing into it that's on you that will actually attract it into your life. Until you can grow in terms of like your daily routine and how you're showing up in the world, and like transform a lot of your existing energy into like more productive energy, until you can do that, and really grow into the next phase of you, it'll be very difficult for you to attract what it is that Spirit's showing you. But Spirit wants to keep showing you it, so that you can stay on track with actually attracting it, if that makes sense. Okay, so work through your fears. Definitely your fears in terms of like surrender, defensiveness, and like allowing yourself to rest is definitely important. Don't let your pride get in the way in terms of this defensiveness. Don't let your pride derail you from this whole process. Don't let the not having of it in the physical stop you from feeling like you already do. We've also got believe in the impossible. The answers you need are coming, and a fiery climax approaches. I think this reading to me feels like it's definitely going to set you on a new path that will bring you into closer alignment with what it is that you want. It'll help you keep believing in what it is that you want, because hopefully this will create some clarity for you in terms of like why things are going the way that they're going at the moment. And hopefully those answers that you've received now and the answers that are still to come as you like process this and integrate this into your life and like realize a lot of stuff on your own, that should help kind of create this like pinnacle for you in terms of like understanding the whole creative process and how to be really empowered in that. And it really attract what it is you desire. And you'll just get better and better at it the more that you do it. But this is definitely like, it feels like a learning curve moment for you that you're just trying to like nut out. But yeah, you'll definitely grow a lot from this process that you're going through right now. Do we have any last affirmations for pile 1 when it comes to receiving readings? So we have, I welcome positive change as an opportunity to expand my being. I would say that's like the general theme of this reading. Like it's really about creating positive change into like all the little aspects of your life that seem small but are actually really big in terms of like getting you on track for what it is you desire. Because those are all opportunities to expand your being and kind of like line up with what it is you desire. Like I'm seeing that whatever it is that you're desiring, it's kind of like definitely an evolution for you in terms of your being, and creating these like positive changes in your day-to-day life will expand you into that potential, and just like close the gap between you and it in a way that like it attracts to you just like so much easier and smoother and faster and better, once you like actually can just go slow with this change, and welcoming it in and like shifting things and expanding your being. Like once you can really slow down and allow that process to like kind of like fully like be experienced by you, like your expansion will start to happen a lot faster and easier. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile 1. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. If it resonated, don't forget to leave me a comment. But if you could like, comment, and subscribe anyway, I would really appreciate it. And it will also help me to stay on your feed. But until next time, ciao. Hey there, pile 2. Welcome to your reading for what your spirit guides want you to know in terms of advice for getting general readings or whatever it is you've been seeing. This is a general reading, so as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. There will be specific messages here for specific people, and there will be better interpretations of the cards that fit your situation a little bit differently than, say, the collective energy of this reading. But with that said, let's get the general themes of what your spirit guides want you to know when receiving the readings or seeing what you've been seeing. What do your spirit guides want you to know? What do your spirit guides want you to know? Okay, this is a lot of fiery energy, guys. So we have the Aries placement, which is corresponding to the affirmation I am, as well as the first house, the house of the body, ego, personality, and kind of who we are physically in the world. We also have the Mercury retrograde card, which signifies like upheaval and reinvention. It's usually to do with thinking and communication and just how things are working, given that that's the nature of the Mercury placement. And then we also have the fire element of desire. Obviously Aries is a fire element. It's a cardinal element, so it's very like assertive and powerful in terms of like starting things. But let's get a little bit more specific using this traditional tarot. Okay, there's a lot of that wanted to come out then. Seems like I always pre-shuffle, by the way, before I start the video. So all the cards have been pre-shuffled, and sometimes like right when I've like intuitively stopped shuffling before the video starts, like the cards are just like ready to go. But let's get some clarification on the Page of Swords, please. Gonna take the first and last card there. And the Queen of Pentacles. And the Five of Wands. Just gonna take the first and last card again. And the Ten of Swords and the Tower. Pile 2, I'm going to be real with you. You've been seeing what you've been seeing because your spirit guides are trying to like reinvent how you're showing up in the world. Very differently and drastically in a way that will make you a lot happier, a lot more aligned with your like true calling and purpose, and like happiness, and will also make you feel like much more at peace and serene in the world. It seems like there's potentially some like betrayal and abandonment wounds from your past that Spirit's really trying to heal. So it's been showing you things that maybe feel very conflicting when you see them, maybe bringing up some stuff. Like it definitely feels kind of like the icky, or like you're seeing it and it's just kind of like aggravating like inner wounds. But this is all for a purpose. Like you're seeing what you're seeing to like really reflect on it, draw some like sticky emotions and tough experiences out of you, and trying to get you to like see it in a new light and reinvent it from a place of much more personal power. So the Page of Swords is kind of like quite a youthful mentality. It is about like curiosity and kind of like seeking. And I think what your spirit guides are really trying to create within you in terms of showing you what they've been showing you, and they're definitely their advice for how to receive that is to get really curious about how you're responding to what you're seeing, especially in regards to any like anxieties or stress or like negative either mental or emotional reactions that you're having, especially kind of like anything that like feels like an alarm bell when you see it. Like get really curious about why you're feeling that way, and then also get really curious about what would actually make you feel really aligned and happy. Like what part of what you're seeing like creates anxiety, and what part of what you're seeing is showing you maybe something that you want to be aligned with, or that you could be aligned with, or that could potentially bring you happiness. So it's kind of like Spirit's asking you to get really curious about the difference between the two and your experience of the two in whatever it is that you're seeing. Because Spirit's kind of like trying to evolve you to take much better care of yourself when it comes to how you're showing up in life. Kind of this like Aries I am energy. The Queen of Pentacles is like a very mothering, nurturing, self-love, self-care kind of archetype. And it seems like maybe for whatever reason, like you're a little bit disconnected from that energy right now. I'm getting that maybe like you're not necessarily feeling like inspired to embody that in a very like full way. And this maybe has some things to do with some of your past that needs to be like kind of looked at and shifted in order for you to like want to embody that. Like I'm kind of getting from all of these mixed together that maybe there's some like kind of victim mentality, like, or just like hesitancy to change, or just like fear of change, like not knowing what it will really look like and feel like in your life to really step into this like power and this energy. Because the reality that you have currently is very comfortable and very familiar. But what Spirit's trying to get you to understand is that the reality that you're experiencing currently is also very painful. It's creating a lot of tension within yourself. It's creating a lot of inner turmoil. And like the thing is, like, if you don't kind of like embody this like self-loving and caring kind of energy like soon, you could potentially kind of wallow in this like tower moment that you're potentially having at the moment for a long time, and Spirit doesn't really want you to sit there for an overly long time. Spirit was happy to let you flow into that for a place of like introspection and just like understanding some of your stuff, especially these betrayal wounds that we were talking about earlier and abandonment wounds. But Spirit definitely hasn't intended for you to stay there. Definitely. They want you to like use all that pain to like really shift something and create like this new dawn where like you're a much better like guardian of your own self and your own power and your own like desires and passions in life. And yeah, so definitely what you've been seeing, it's for a purpose. Spirit wants to like kind of like aggravate you a little bit in order to bring about your reinvention. But they're definitely like trying to tell you here that they don't want you to wallow in it. Like that's what they're trying to avoid. But really ultimately that's up to your free will as to whether or not you are going to wallow in it or not. So yeah, making sure that you're receiving all the readings that you're receiving kind of with a grain of salt, allowing yourself to take that space and like step back from it and really like unpack what about that reading like it excites and inspires you and feels aligned and like good for you and will bring you this like kind of serene happiness in your life, and what like causes you anxiety or just like stress from a place of like needing to give that healing and or like what you need to let go of in your life currently. So they're basically the big themes of this reading. That's like the purpose of what Spirit is showing you. Do you have any other practical advice for pile 2 when it comes to bringing this about? Okay. So we have a little bit here, pile 2, in terms of like, I think this first card, Wish Wisely, came out is potentially like what you've been seeing so far. Maybe you haven't looked at it from this same distance than what you're currently looking at it from. Like given that now you know what the purpose is. So just making sure that moving forward, like when you do see stuff, that you're looking through this kind of lens that we've been talking about, and not just like taking it as for face value, like whatever it is that you're seeing. Make sure you're like really discerning like what feels good about that reading, what you want to let go or leave behind, and just really using that wisdom in terms of like, so the text says, use your wishes wisely to manifest your heart's desire and take practical steps towards making your dreams come true. So definitely like unpacking like what's a no and what's a yes is basically the theme of these cards here. When you're receiving readings, like definitely use that wisdom that now you will be able to take into those readings to really kind of like hone in what it is that you're desiring. We also have solitude. Think of being alone as meaning you are all one and in total harmony with everything. The greatest treasures are those who wait silently during your quiet times. So yeah, it's definitely a time for like a lot of introspection and solitude, and like getting really in touch with who you really are and what you really want and how you really want to show up in the world. The fairies of protection are shielding you with a magical fairy ring of love and light. Practice psychic protection before embarking on any spiritual work. Right now, you're definitely being protected by kind of like inviting you into this solitude and reflection in order to increase the wisdom that you can go into like life with after receiving these readings that you're gaining clarity on. But know that like potentially after seeing this reading, Spirit really wants you to shift that protection over to yourself and like embody this like self-love, self-care kind of archetype a lot more. So try not to rely on Spirit's protection, even though they will, like Spirit will continue to protect you. And you're definitely being called to like step up in terms of your own protection for yourself. And kind of like take over a little bit from what Spirit has been doing for you in the background. Because that's only going to help make things clearer in terms of what you want and what you need and what feels good and what doesn't. It's kind of like the next level. Yeah, I think this is definitely unlocking like a new era of abundance. And if you keep like following this path, like I think really good things are going to happen for you. Because you'll be like approaching it with like a much more enlightened perspective. But yeah, you've got a synchronicity with this protection card coming out, so it's definitely very important that you know that you're protected by Spirit and your guides, but also they're calling you to step into this protection even more. And this long night of the moon darkness card, I think has to do with this like tower moment that you're potentially in at the moment, knowing that yes, it is a little bit dark right now, and yes, you might be feeling a little bit lonely with this solitude card coming out, but it's all about this like real period of reflection. This like long night of the moon is spiritually a very introspective like time, so definitely using that introspection to gain a lot of clarity and like reinvent yourself and restructure like where you're going at the moment. So we have, you're very close to achieving your goal. Yeah, I think this reading is definitely going to set you on the right track with all of this stuff. Like, I think once you hear it, you'll just be like, oh my God, and be able to like integrate it into your life so much better. I think like in terms of these betrayal and abandonment wounds that we were talking about a little bit earlier, it might be nice to affirm to yourself that you are good enough. And like using that perspective to like revisit some of those wounds, like going into unpacking them with the certainty that you are good enough can give you like a new perspective on how they were playing out for you and why they were playing out for you, maybe where they came from. And it'll help you like offer yourself some healing and shed some love and light onto the situation. So your affirmation is, I accept and release everything in my life that is beyond my power to change. Yeah, I think this is definitely a time for kind of like witnessing and not necessarily trying to control anything. Like you're being shown what you're being shown for a purpose. And yeah, try not to control it too much, because really what you're doing is like just being open to it and just like really reflecting on it and like taking away what you need to take away from it, so that you can learn and grow. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile 2. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. If if the reading resonated, don't forget to drop me a comment. But if you can like, comment, and subscribe, that would really help me stay on your feed, which I would really, really appreciate. But until then, ciao. Hey there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading for what your spirit guides want you to know, what advice they want you to take in terms of the readings that you're seeing or whatever it is that you're seeing in life at the moment. Any confirmations that you feel like you might be getting, what they actually want you to do with that, how they want you to receive that, how they want you to process that. But let's get into the reading. Just remembering that it is a general reading, meaning that there will be messages here for specific people. And there may be some interpretations of the cards that might be a little bit different to better fit your situation, if it does deviate from the collective energy here. So just remembering just to bring your intuition and discernment to every reading, especially general readings. But let's clarify what the general themes of what your spirit guides want you to know using this astrology deck. Spirit, what do we have in terms of pile 3? What do you want pile 3 to know about the readings they're receiving, or whatever it is that they're seeing? Right. That was bound to happen. Okay, pile 3. What we have here for you is the Venus placement, which obviously corresponds to Libra energy and the 7th house of partnerships. It often represents our feminine energy, but also how we are in relationships. So kind of like that very relational kind of energy. Then we also have, I don't know if this is going to light. I'm gonna have to get another candle. Then we also have the lunar eclipse card, which often reflects change. I do associate it sometimes with the dark night of the soul. And then we also have the destiny card. The artwork on this card is illuminated by the Kabbalah tree of life, which we can talk about during the tarot reading a little bit more, but it kind of represents kind of the flow of energy of life in a lot of ways. But let's get some more specific messages using this traditional tarot. Spirit, what do you want pile 3 to know about the messages they're receiving, how they should be interpreted or processed or anything like that? Spirit, what do you have for pile 3, please? Spirit, what do you have for pile 3, please? What do you have for pile 3, please, Spirit? What do you have for pile 3, please? Can you please clarify this 8 of Wands energy, please? Can we clarify this Magician card, please? Can we clarify this Emperor and Ace of Swords? And can we clarify this Temperance and Knight of Pentacles card, please? Okay, let me just relight our candles here, pile 3. Just don't want to detract from the ambiance. Feel free to skip this if you'd like to skip it. But let's get into your reading about what your spirit guides want you to know, or advice from your spirit guides in terms of receiving and processing the readings that you've been seeing. What your guides want you to know. The main theme of what your guides want you to know is that your guides are trying to create a lunar eclipse / change in you at the moment based on what they're showing you, that's going to align you with your destiny when it comes to love specifically, but not necessarily just love in terms of love with other people, but also like your capacity within yourself for higher expressions of love or more fulfilling love within yourself as well. So definitely Spirit's trying to align you with like higher levels of love and also your destiny by creating a bit of change within you, by showing you what Spirit's been showing you. I would not be surprised if you've been seeing a lot of love readings, maybe pertaining to some sort of Emperor energy in a lot of them. But what Spirit wants you to know is that a lot of the readings that you've been seeing have been a little bit hypothetical in that this is all what's lined up for you. This is all the potential that you have in store for you. But Spirit's trying to align you with that potential by showing you this potential. So it's very important that you kind of align with this potential in the physical in order to kind of like make space for it to actually enter your life. And a lot of that making space has to do with changing how you're showing up in the world in a way that clears old karma, and presents a very changed version of you, especially when it comes to the way that you love in the world. I'm getting that there needs to be a lot more power and clarity in terms of the giving and receiving love for you and from you. I'm sensing maybe some abandonment wounds from the past that might be resulting in either some anxious tendencies, some clinging tendencies, some people-pleasing tendencies, and some self-betrayal tendencies. Kind of like pick whatever resonates of that, or it might be a combination of those things. And essentially all of this is your karma from your past. Now, this karma really needs to be illuminated to you, using this kind of like Ace of Swords and Magician energy. Like you really need to highlight that to yourself, and begin to clear and change that in order to align you with all the things that you're wanting to call in right now, because it seems like where you're at right now is not necessarily a match for this Emperor energy that you've potentially been seeing in a lot of readings. Like you're a match in terms of that potential, but not necessarily a match in terms of the physical right now, although it might be part of your destiny to align with this match. Whether that's aligning to this match in terms of aligning to a person, or just aligning to like a higher frequency of love in general, that maybe you can use a specific person if you have it in mind to help you do. So it's not necessarily about obtaining that person, but it's about obtaining the frequency of love that you would need to be at in order to experience what you're envisioning with that person. Because it seems like there's a bit of a block when it comes to like actually like manifesting things in the physical at the moment. Potentially what's happening is because of this karma that's still kind of like dormant within you. Potentially when you get close to change or evolution at the moment, there's some sort of like fear or anxiety that comes up, maybe some sort of self-sabotage. Maybe it just feels like what it is that you're calling in is a little bit too far away from where you're at now. And it's not until this kind of like old karma gets cleared that when you're calling that in, that'll actually feel safe to call in. Like it seems like what you're calling in is maybe feeling a little bit safe or distant from you right now, a little bit scary or threatening of your current reality. So it's definitely like, if it comes close, it doesn't actually stay. because there's an energy kind of within you that's like almost rejecting it. And I know this might be hard to hear, but your spirit guides are definitely telling me that you're ready to hear it for the people that are here, so that you can like create change. Because I'm also getting that while this might be hard to hear, you're actually kind of sick of the cycle that you're in, and you know that something needs to change. And so hopefully this will help you in terms of kind of like shifting that stuff, so that when you're like calling something in, it doesn't feel as scary anymore. Like you actually feel more aligned to it, and it doesn't feel like so big when you're calling it in. Let's see if there's any last pieces of advice quickly. Like I just feel like there's something missing, Spirit. What's missing from this picture, please? What's missing from this picture? Okay. I think potentially like the shadow of this Queen of Wands, given that it's come out in reverse, is maybe feeling not very courageous, or kind of like pushing through your own intuition and uncertainty, if that makes sense. So the shadow of the Queen of Wands can either go two ways. Either like you completely kind of like abdicate that inspired, fiery Wands energy altogether, and you kind of like are very complacent, or like you kind of like amp up that Wands energy until it's very destructive. Like kind of think of a forest fire of just like barreling through everything and then no longer consulting your intuition. Like I'm getting there's probably a mix of people here that are presenting Queen of Wands energy, like disempowered Queen of Wands energy in either way. But yeah, Spirit's definitely asking you to kind of come home to that very inspired, fiery energy, to help kind of like illuminate to you where you're going and why you're going there and what you really want in life. The Queen of Wands upright is a very passionate and courageous energy that really goes after what she wants, and is very like creative and inspired. So it doesn't really matter which way you're disempowered with that energy. Spirit's really asking you to kind of like align with that Queen of Wands energy, so that kind of like asking you to align with both the Queen of Cups and Queen of Wands energy, so that you can like know how to follow your path, so to speak, through the future and through some of your own blocks. Like with this energy together combined, this Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups energy, like you'll be able to essentially move through a lot of your own fears and karma that's blocking you, because you'll have a really good balance of like passion and courageousness and like vision of like what you really want, as well as like a very calm, intuitive, like flowing towards it without too much resistance, and being able to surrender to the process. And that's really what's going to help you to see the things in the physical that you really want to see. But let's get a little bit more practical advice in terms of you aligning with more love, as well as more inspiration and creativity and intuition, to align you with higher levels of love, essentially. So we've got the Protect Your Dreams card. There might be stuff coming up in your dreams that are illuminating to you maybe some of this karma that needs to be cleared. So definitely keep a dream journal and meditate on any of the messages that you're getting in dreams, to help you kind of clear and heal old karma. Like it's a very easy way to get insight into your subconscious mind and sometimes what's really going on for you, because if you're not aware of it, it can be very hard to transform your blocks. And this is potentially why you're here also. So Spirit's directing you here to transform some of your blocks, so that you can create what it is you desire instead of getting so stuck on the path. But let's see what else there is for you in terms of what your spirit guides want you to know. Yeah, there's definitely a way to do this work very peacefully, as I was kind of illuminating before with this kind of like Queen of Cups, like calm, intuitive energy. Spirit definitely wants you to move through life in peace, but Spirit also wants you to be balanced in terms of like that motivation to actually get you through. Because sometimes if you're just in this like go with the flow energy, like maybe you wouldn't have the like focus and drive to actually get you through the sticky parts of what's to come. Perhaps you'd actually resist some of the challenge. But this Queen of Wands energy, like amping that up, is definitely going to help you pursue what you want in spite of challenges, so that you can kind of move through this like dark moon, like kind of void energy that you're experiencing at the moment, where all this karma is very present, and so that you can blossom on the other side, and have a lot of faith in the process while that's happening, while there's potentially going to be some lingering in a lot of the stuff and stickiness and like unpleasantness essentially. Sometimes you've got to go through to get to the other side rather than going around it. And Queen of Cups energy is definitely like her shadow can sometimes be going around the resistance rather than through it. But it seems like your spirit guides really want you to go through it, experience it so that the karma can be cleared rather than just avoided. It's definitely a time for healing. Yeah, like whatever it is that you've been seeing, it's supposed to be like inspiring you in this Queen of Wands energy, and also just like highlighting to any karma that needs to be cleared in order for you to align with higher frequencies of love. And sometimes I'm getting also that the things that you're being shown, just to even just feel love in that moment, like the long-term goal is almost not overly important. Just Spirit just keeps trying to align you with love in every moment. So potentially Spirit's showing you love readings in order just to, even if it's just for a minute, just for you to like align with love and peace. So do that as much as you can. You don't need to rely on readings for that. But all of this kind of like love and peace energy that they're trying to align you with is definitely going to help you work through those fears, work through that karma, and work through that stuff so that you overall end up experiencing like a higher level of love overall in your life. Can we get any affirmations for pile 3 to help them through this time, please? Okay. So we have 2. We have divine energy flows through me. I am a radiant being. I am welcoming positive change as an opportunity to expand my being. So this is kind of like the whole theme of what we've been talking about with this Queen of Cups and Queen of Wands energy. Like this is Queen of Wands energy, welcoming positive change as opportunity to expand your being and kind of like moving through it with a little bit of fire. There's even like some, obviously some orange on the card. And then this card's signified by a lot of blue, which is obviously that Queen of Cups energy of divine energy flowing through me, and I'm a radiant being. Like that's essentially like playing with those polarities within yourself will help you get through what it is you're going through at the moment, and processing the lessons that Spirit's really trying to give you from showing you whatever it is that it's showing you at the moment. But I hope this gives you something to take away from this reading that will help you kind of move through the next kind of like phase of all this healing that you're obviously doing. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile 3. If you resonated with this reading, if you found it helpful, don't forget to drop me a comment. And if you could like, comment and subscribe in any case, that will help me stay on your feed so I can come back for more intuitive tarot card readings for whatever it is that you're needing. But until I see you again then, ciao. That's all I have for you guys today. My name's Jade Wilding, and I'll be on this channel doing intuitive tarot card readings for whatever you need, whenever you need it. I hope today's video brought you some comfort or clarity or whatever it was you were needing. If it resonated, don't forget to comment. And if you can like, comment and subscribe to keep me on your feed, I would really, really, really appreciate it. Until then, ciao.